What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we will be covering our first conference finals matchup with the Oklahoma City Thunder versus the San Antonio Spurs. So let's hop right into it. Coming into this matchup, the Oklahoma City Thunder were the one seed in the West with a 64-18 regular season record, and they went a perfect 8-0 in the first two rounds of the playoffs, knocking off the Phoenix Suns and the Los Angeles Lakers. And for the Spurs, they are the two seed in the West, having just knocked off the Minnesota Timberwolves in 6 games to get to this point. And now, looking at some stats from the first two rounds, we can see that Oklahoma City has been dominant with the second best net rating in the playoffs at plus 17.6. And the Thunder's defense has done a great job of forcing turnovers and then converting those chances into transition points. And for the Spurs, they have shot the ball really well in the playoffs so far, and they will definitely need to continue to knock down the threes and perimeter shots in this series. And the Spurs' defense has been excellent, especially at protecting the paint, with the best defensive rating at 103.6. And now looking at the four factors for each team, we can see that Oklahoma City has shot the ball well in the playoffs so far, and they've also done a great job of crashing the glass and getting second chance opportunities. The Thunder have also done an excellent job at taking care of the ball with the lowest turnover rate in the playoffs so far. And for the Spurs, they have done a great job of attacking the basket and getting to the free throw line, something that they will definitely have to continue in this series. And the Spurs have done a good job of forcing tough shots, especially with Wemby and Cornette doing a great job of impacting shots in the paint. And looking at the play type percentiles via synergy, we can see that Oklahoma City has been excellent in the pick and roll and in isolation in the playoffs. And the Thunder have also done a really good job of defending transition opportunities, but they've really struggled to defend spot up shots, something that the Spurs could take advantage of. And for San Antonio, they have been really efficient in the pick and roll, and they've shot the ball really well, especially in those spot up opportunities. And for the Spurs on defense, they have been excellent at guarding spot ups and pick and rolls, and that will definitely need to be on point against the Thunder and SGA in the pick and roll. And now looking at the lineups for both teams, first for the Thunder, they've been dominant in the playoffs thus far, even without Jalen Williams for their entire second round series against the Lakers. And he has reported that he is going to be fully healthy for this series against the Spurs. And they've definitely been much more efficient when they have J-Dub in their lineup instead of AJ Mitchell in their starting lineup with a plus 30.8 net rating versus a plus 5.9 net rating. And their bench unit and depth continues to be their biggest strength throughout the playoffs and throughout the season. And they have been really effective when they play small and have four guards on the floor with the lineup of SGA, AJ Mitchell, Caruso, Cason Wallace, and Jalen Williams, the other big man, having a plus 48.9 net rating. And now looking at the Spurs lineup, their starting lineup has been very efficient in the playoffs so far, playing 107 minutes together with a plus 28.8 net rating, and they have really been solid on both ends of the court. And for the Spurs, they have the depth to match up with the Thunder, something that the Suns and Lakers definitely did not. But they will certainly need guys like Dylan Harper, Keldon Johnson, Harrison Barnes, Carter Bryant, and Luke Cornette to continue to produce. And their best net rating lineup throughout the playoffs has been Fox, Harper, Keldon Johnson, Champagnie, and Luke Cornette with a plus 65.2 net rating. And now for the projective defensive assignments. First up for the Thunder, at point guard Fox, I think he's guarded by Jalen Williams back in the lineup, using his size and length to disrupt Fox when he's bringing up to the ball and getting into the actions. But I also would expect a lot of Cason Wallace and Alex Caruso to pressure him as well. And then for Stephon Castle, guarded by Lou Dort, using his size and physicality to try and keep Castle out of the paint. And then Vassell, I think, is guarded by SGA, more of a perimeter shooter, giving SGA more of a breather on defense, backed up by AJ Mitchell as well. And then Julian Champagnie, I think, is guarded by Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Joe. I think Chet can guard a number of different people in this series. I think he can guard Castle to kind of sag off on him and defend the paint a little bit. I think he'll also guard Wembanyama a ton. And then for Wembanyama specifically, I think Hartenstein will start on him and get most of the time, just kind of using his physicality similarly to what Minnesota did in the previous series. I think that's probably the best matchup for the Thunder. And then he is backed up by the other Jalen Williams. And now looking at the Spurs defensive assignments, first for SGA, I think Stephon Castle will get this assignment, but I would expect to see a lot of guys kind of rotate onto SGA like Devin Vassell, Dylan Harper, and Carter Bryant. And Stephon will have to do a better job of staying out of foul trouble, as that was a pretty big problem in the last series against Minnesota. For Jalen Williams, I think he's guarded by Devin Vassell and backed up by Carter Bryant, using their size and length to disrupt J-Dub. And then for Lou Dort, guarded by De'Aaron Fox and Keldon Johnson. I think De'Aaron is a very good defender, but I just think that the size and length of Vassell and Stephon Castle would better be suited on SGA and J-Dub. And I'd also expect to see Fox a lot on AJ Mitchell when he is in the game. And then for Chet Holmgren, the Spurs don't have a great matchup outside of Wemby for him. So I have Champagnie to start on him as well as Harrison Barnes, but I expect to see a lot of Keldon Johnson as well on him. And then for Hartenstein in the middle, guarded by Wembanyama and Luke Cornett. And now looking at some X factors in this series. First for the Thunder, Isaiah Hartenstein has been really solid in the playoffs so far, especially on the glass, but he will definitely need to play his best series in this round. Hartenstein has been averaging 10 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block per game, while shooting 76% from the field and 81% from the line. And Isaiah will definitely need to use his physicality and size to disrupt Wembanyama and continue to attack the offensive glass and also keep Wemby off the defensive glass. And then for the Spurs, Devin Vassell has been a solid contributor on both sides of the floor in the playoffs, but he will definitely need to shoot the ball better in this series. Vassell has been averaging 13 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block per game in the playoffs, while shooting 42% from the field, 32% from 3, and 75% from the line. And Devin is a great defender, and he will likely have to guard SGA and Jalen Williams most of the time in this series, but he will also need to provide that floor spacing and knock down his open looks. And to recap things here today, these two teams have already matched up 5 times this season, with the Spurs winning the season series 4-1, which was a key storyline throughout the regular season and definitely a point of emphasis if these two teams were ever to match up in the playoffs like we have here. And OKC and San Antonio have been the best 2 teams in the West and maybe even in the league all season. And this is definitely the matchup that everyone wanted to see in the Western Conference Finals. And the Thunder have not missed a beat the entire playoffs, going a perfect 8-0. Even without Jalen Williams in their last series against the Lakers. And the Spurs have looked like the real deal in the playoffs, proving a lot of their doubters wrong, even though they don't have a ton of playoff experience on their roster. And their defense has definitely been the most impressive thing in the first 2 rounds. And overall, I'm really excited for this matchup, but I do think that OKC's playoff experience will make the difference in this series. And my series prediction overall will be the Oklahoma City Thunder winning in 6 games, 4-2 over the San Antonio Spurs. I do trust their playoff experience a little bit more. I trust the guys around SGA and their second and third and fourth scoring options more than the Spurs behind Wemby, as Fox, Castle, and even Harper have been a little inconsistent at times in the playoffs. And I do think that the Thunder are just a little bit more solid. I think they do a great job of turning teams over, getting out in transition and, running and scoring there. And I do think that will be a bit of a problem for the Spurs. But that is going to be it for me today, everyone. Thank you all so much for listening. And if you did like this video, please be sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.